Welcome to Let's Talk Space Medicine. I'm Kyle Anderson, your medical student / space nerd host. For your listening entertainment, I gather my other medically inclined space nerd friends to talk all things space medicine. With our powers combined, we hope to explore and entertain the medical questions that stand between us and the stars. Today's episode: Space Radiation, Engineering Solutions versus Precision Medicine. During this episode, I explored the question, when attempting to mitigate radiation concerns for astronauts on long-duration space missions, what will be better, engineering solutions or precision medicine? As a brief disclaimer, anything discussed on Let's Talk Space Medicine should not be considered medical advice, and is therefore not a substitute for seeking medical help from a doctor. We are simply interested in discussing interesting topics within the field of space medicine. Probably the most significant hurdle for the future success of a long-term space colony is the ability to combat radiation, where every day you stay out in space or on the surface of the moon or Mars, you increase your dose of harmful radiation and chances for a significant medical complication, both acutely as well as many years down the road. In these extreme environments, your body is constantly bombarded with many different types of radiation that includes solar particle events, which consist of mainly protons and helium atoms ejected from the sun, but also galactic cosmic radiation that can include high-energy photons as well as heavy atomic nuclei. Most straightforwardly, one complication of exposure to radiation includes various types of cancer. This is where the radiation can inflict damage to the DNA structure, leading to uncontrolled cell division, resulting in a cancerous lesion. Importantly, there are many other medical consequences to radiation, which include, but are not limited to, cardiovascular damage, thyroid dysfunction, gut epithelial damage, immune dysregulation, reproductive complications, and even bone embrittlement. So what are some mitigating strategies for radiation for these long-duration space missions? One approach is to engineer your spacecraft or surface habitat to prevent the radiation from reaching your body in the first place. The idea is much like what you probably have encountered when getting x-rays in a doctor's office or dental office by using lead as a shield. If you have ever noticed, the lead shielding covers the majority of the torso, which contains the gastrointestinal, cardiovascular, and reproductive systems, but also often has a separate guard for the neck region, which contains the thyroid gland, a particularly radiosensitive organ. In the case of lunar or Martian habitats, the lead that will be used will come in the form of either lunar or Martian regolith, a different name for soil, which will hopefully cover habitats with a meters-thick coat as a protective shield. Interestingly, when still in space, some engineering solutions include plans for using stored water around the crew compartments as a shield, because water is a very effective radiation shield. But what if we just select astronauts that were more resistant to radiation? Precision medicine is an emerging field whereby genetic diagnostics could help determine how a given individual might respond to a medical treatment. Importantly, the precision medicine approach stands in opposition to the traditional way of doing things, whereby large populations are used to determine if a drug is efficacious, often in randomized controlled trials. While these RCTs are certainly helpful, the problem arises when an individual has a genetic factor that makes them respond differently to one of these medical treatments, and in some instances may actually cause harm. These genetic factors are called small nuclear polymorphisms, or SNPs, which are low-frequency single base pair changes to DNA. And these SNPs actually still usually encode for the same protein, but can be associated with differences in more macro-level biological responses. So in our case, it is certainly possible that there are identifiable SNPs that could lead to an individual being more resilient to radiation over another. Interestingly, a fusion of an engineering and medical approach has been tested aboard the International Space Station, where a melanin-based polymer that could be used for a variety of applications, such as spacesuits or module design, had been tested. As you might have already known, melanin is a protein made by the melanocytes found in your skin that is responsible for our skin's pigmentation and is a very important protective measure for ultraviolet radiation. This points to the fact that the spaceflight community will likely take every advantage when tackling radiation problems, whether it's an engineering solution, precision medicine, or whatever else we can come up with. But I'm curious, if you were to only choose one, would engineering solutions be more valuable? Or, with sufficient advancement in the field, will precision medicine end up being the best solution for protecting from radiation? Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Space Medicine. If you want to continue the discussion and meet more fellow space nerds, be sure to check out @TalkSpaceMed on Twitter and the Let's Talk Space Medicine server on Discord. Thanks, and see you next episode.